Cancun, Mexico. There's a lot of people out on the beach because it's such a lovely day. Show you around on it. It's different from the USA, let me tell you that.
Are you zooming in a little?
Yeah. There's a few people in the water.
This is Playa del Carmen. Okay, well.
Oh, excuse me, this is Del Carmen. Sorry about that. Just get a quick shot of this. This is where we are.
Okay, please keep walking.
Here's a little bit of downtown Mexico.
Can you get a developer? Yeah.
You into that word? No? Corona. Ah, you say Corona. More beer, please. That's the meaning. Well, good afternoon, everybody. How are you today?
I'm fine.
So that's what I say in Espanol. That's what I say in our language. Welcome to Mexico, everybody, and nice to meet you, everybody. Well, the name of the place where we start the tour is known as Playa del Carmen. So Playa del Carmen is the place where we took this bus. We are in mainland. This is mainland. This is not an island. The island, you know, that is Cozumel, and it's located in front of Playa del Carmen. So Cozumel is considered one of the largest islands all over Mexico. It's 28 miles long, 11 miles wide. It's a beautiful island, the Caribbean. This is Mexico, the Maya land, the land of the Mayas, and we are very close of the Caribbean. So this is a coastal road, the Caribbean. So we have the Caribbean in that direction. That side you will see a lot of resorts, a lot of developments that they have a beautiful beachfront with the Mexican Caribbean. All the Caribbean is beautiful, but in this part of Mexico, in this part of the peninsula, we have the second largest coral reef in the world. You know that the largest one is in Australia, and the second largest coral reef in the world is located in this part of Mexico. The coral reef starts in Cancun all the way down to the coast of Belize and Honduras, where the Pacific and the where the Pacific starts. Yeah. Well, friends, this part of the peninsula, when the first Spanish people arrived in 1500s, they thought that this was an island. They thought that this was India. They were really wrong. That's why the Spanish people called to the Mayas Indios, because they thought that this was India. But sometimes there is something which is very important and is good to know. It's very good to know. For example, to the Hindus, we don't call them Indians. We call them Hindis, which is the correct word. And for example, now that we are in Mexico, that you're in Mexico, when you call somebody Indio, you know, the Mayan Indians, for example, so that's pejorative. So it's not a really good word. Yeah, it's a pejorative. So we call them indigenous, which is the correct word. Yeah, indigenous people, descendants of Mayas, descendants of Aztecs, descendants of pre-Hispanic civilizations. You know, in the United States, there were different civilizations, and there are descendants nowadays, descendants of Hopis, Cherokees, and Azasis. So cultures who occupy Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Some years ago, people used to call them the American Indians. Is that right? But they don't call them anymore like that. They call them the Native Americans, which is good, and it's the correct word to when we are talking about an ancient culture, an ancient civilization. Well, let me introduce to my friend. He's the most important person in our bus. He's the bus driver. His name is Manuel, Mr. Manuel. Let's give a warm applause to the driver, please. Well, Manuel is gonna take us to the Myan Ruins of Tulum. He will take us back to Playa del Carmen, the place where we start this tour. And how I mentioned before, is a sunny day, isn't it? See? Well, but you know, in this time of the year, during the fall season and winter time, we are starting our winter. You know, the winter time, the solstice. The solstice in December 21st, 22nd marks, yeah, an important date, yeah, an important period, yeah, and a new station, yeah. This is our winter. Our winter is between 50, 55, 60 Fahrenheit. That's our winter. It's really cold for us because we're used to the humidity. The peninsula is really hot and humid. We get during the springtime, for example, temperature between 85 and 90 Fahrenheit, 95% of humidity. Summertime, July, August can get 110, 120 Fahrenheit, and more than 95% of humidity. That's what I'm saying, that the fall season and the winter time. So it's the best time to visit Mexico because it's not so hot and not so humid. It's really good for you. Well, our bus number is very important. Today, this will be our bus number, which is the number 21, 21, Imagination Tulum Tour. This blue sign will be all the time in the windshield. So remember our bus number. There is another cruise line from the same line, the Carnival. The other ship is the Jubilee. The Jubilee. Maybe you will find the same number in another bus, but it could be a different cruise line. So that's why look for the bus number, which is 21 Imagination, yeah, and try to look for the right bus. If you take another bus, bye-bye, hasta la vista, baby. In another way, if you take another bus, you can finish this tour in Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, who knows. We're very close to Central America. Now we're driving south, so we're gonna ride 42 miles south Playa del Carmen. It's gonna take us almost about an hour, 45 minutes, about an hour to get to the Myan Ruins of Tulum. But if we keep driving 4 more hours south direction, we get to the borderline with Central America. The closest country is Belize. Belize, Guatemala. But 4 more hours south direction, we get to Belize, which is part of Central America, and Cancun. Cancun is located about an hour north Playa del Carmen. Cancun, beautiful place, the most important touristic area on the Yucatan Peninsula, as well as Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, which is getting very, very important. Cancun is formed by 2 Mayan words, C-A-N, C-U-N, Cancun. So Can means snake. They used to worship snakes, mainly the rattlesnake. They were considered symbol of life, symbol of fertility, related with agriculture. I think that different civilizations in the world worship different animals which became gods. The Egyptian civilization worship the falcon, cats. In India, the cobras, cows, they were sacred and very important animals. Among the Mayan civilization, this culture, the Mayans worship frogs, turtles, related with rain, with the rain god. Jaguar, considered symbol of power, symbol of knowledge. We don't have lions in America. So the jaguar was the most important animal in America and the most important animal and sacred for this culture, for the Mayan civilization. The snakes, they were very important, related with fertility, with agriculture, and with childbirth. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour. Welcome to Mexico once again. Try to enjoy this tour. This is your tour. Try to enjoy it. Sometimes we say that it could be once in our life. We don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. Yeah. But try to enjoy this tour because this is your tour. My name is Vincent, and I'm gonna be with you in the Myan Ruins of Tulum. So today I'm in charge of explaining to you about the Mayan civilization and about the Mayan Ruins of Tulum, which is very important. One of the few cities built close to the ocean, a pre-Hispanic city built right on the shoreline of the Mexican Caribbean. A city built around 900 after Christ until 1500s. Most important rituals in the same city that we're gonna see today. Well, I've been doing this during 9 years. Well, you know that we learn each other every day. There is something new. There is something new every day. In about 10 more minutes, we're gonna have a rest stop. If somebody looking for restrooms, somebody looking for facilities, we're gonna have a rest stop. After the rest stop, we will continue straight to the Mayan Ruins of Tulum. When we get there, try to be together. I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna explain to you about the area. The explanations will take 45 minutes, about an hour, and after the explanations, you will have about an hour. 1 hour for yourself. Time to explore the site by your own, walk around, take pictures, practice human sacrifices. Yeah? Any volunteer? No? Okay. Well, after the walking tour, we're going back to the same bus. Is the bus number? 21. 21, and we'll return to Playa del Carmen. When we get to Playa del Carmen, a ferry boat will be waiting for you to take you back to Cozumel, where the ship is located. So this will be our schedule today. And I hope you enjoy this tour. Well, you have any question? I hope you let me know, because the questions are very, very important. Well, after the walking tour, on the way back to the bus, here in our bus number 21, we're gonna have for you soft drinks and beers. Soft drinks and Mexican beer will be free for you from the home. This will be after the walking tour, yeah, here in our bus number 21. So Manuel, our bus driver, is gonna give you some cups, some plastic cups, and he's gonna share with you the Pepsi or the beer, just let him know. We have the cups is because he's gonna give you cups because we have huge bottles of cerveza, almost 1 liter huge bottles of Pepsi, almost 2 liters. That's why it's gonna give you 7 cups. But you want to take 1 bottle, you can do it. We have a cooler, plenty of beers and soft drinks. Yeah. The beer that we're gonna have for you today is another one. It's a good beer, another good beer that we have in Mexico. We have good ones, good beers in Mexico. Corona, if you know Corona, which is you mentioned Corona, right? Corona is very popular in different parts of the world, but in Mexico we don't like Corona. I don't know why. That's why we send it to United States, Europe, Canada, and different parts of the world. No, Corona is a good beer with lime, you know, but Mexicans prefer, or especially in this part of the peninsula, Mexicans like Dos Equis, Double X, good beer. Have you heard about it? Dos Equis. And there is another good beer produced by the same company, which is known as Sol. S-O-L, Sol, sun beer. If you want, you can try this beer that we're gonna have for you today. It's a good beer, very, very light beer. Well, in this part of the peninsula, is we have a different landscape. We have 2 peninsulas in Mexico, Baja at the north, and the Yucatan Peninsula in this part of Mexico. We are surrounded by the Gulf of Mexico on the western, northern side, and the Caribbean on the eastern section of the peninsula. The peninsula is completely flat, no mountains, no volcanoes, no surface water, no earthquakes. The peninsula is just a huge limestone block emerged from the ocean 65 millions of years ago, according to the geologists. This main source of water and the only source of water that we have in the peninsula are the underground rivers or natural wells, the sinkholes. So you know that the limestone, it's a porous rock, it's a soft rock. That's why there's no surface water, but the rainwater is filtered through the rock, forming sinkholes or natural wells. So most of the Mayan cities were built next to the underground rivers. They were the main source of water. In some Mayan cities, this culture built cisterns for catching the rainwater. See? Yeah, we are located 1,000 miles away from Mexico City. Mexico City, our capital, the largest city in the world when we talk about population. 1,000 miles away from here, Mexico City was the capital of the Aztec civilization. Have you heard about it? Yeah, about the Aztecs and their culture. Maybe you're wondering the time between the Mayas and the Aztecs. Let me tell you that the Mayas were before the Aztecs. The Aztecs were the latest. The Mayas started their culture around 2000, 1500 BC, before Christ, until 1500 after Christ. Almost 3,000 years of culture, 3,000 years of civilization, where this culture developed important science. The Aztec civilization, who started their culture around 1300s after Christ until 1500s. I mean that the Aztecs lived about 200 years in Mexico City, from 1300s until 1500s after Christ. Almost 200 years in Mexico. So there is a big difference between the Mayas and the Aztecs. The Mayas 3,000 years of culture, so the Aztecs 200 years, but they were a great civilization, an important and amazing civilization. Well, you can leave your stuff on the bus. Don't worry about it. They're gonna be safe. It's much better you keep the same seats all the time. This is important. And we're gonna stay 15 minutes in this area. We have facilities just behind that bus. You will find the facilities, the men's room and the ladies room.
These are the Myan ruins of Tulum.
Thank you very much.
Okay, friends, 21. I got it. 21. All the temples were covered by vegetation.
This is one of the temples in Tulum.
Explorers and the
which
Mayan
means
descendants
fortress.
who live in the surrounding areas, they cleared part of the
As you can
temple,
see,
part of the construction. Mr. Catherwood, he was a good illustrator, he was a great artist. He made beautiful
This
drawings
culture
or
started
lithographs of the
2,000
different
years
temples,
before
of the different
Christ,
constructions in the area.
and these
I have a good
particular
idea. This is a
areas
postcard, but this is a good
were
example
built in 900
of
AD.
the castle. This is El Castillo, the castle. When you can see over there, we're gonna get much closer to see this temple, right? But this is a
Various
good
temples
postcard and give us a good
built in
idea, a good
900
example
AD.
how the temples looks like before, when the first explorers arrived, 1842.
Again, Shalom means
Right here.
fortress.
This is the castle. It's a good idea. It's a good reference. When the Carnegie Institution of Washington, support the first expeditions in the area from 1916 till 1923. So archaeologists of the
It's one of the
Carnegie,
temples
they
that's
used
almost
reproductions
gone.
of the drawings made by Catherwood. They were used them as reference to restore the different temples and the different
some more rock
constructions
there.
in the area. Drawings from 1800s and photographs from 1900s are very helpful in archaeology because shows how the temples looks like before. And all pictures, they are a good source of information,
So we're looking
very
at
important during the restoration.
1,200 years
The
of
city
deterioration.
of Tulum, I mentioned that Tulum is a
4,000
fortress,
years
fortress
is when
city.
they
We have
officially
from here
started
we
this
have
culture.
a nice view of the different temples and part of the wall.
Back
It is
in
a
a minute.
wall which is known as the House of the Descending God. The name is because above the central doorway there is a figure in upside down position, has the legs up and the arms below is coming down.
Yeah.
Maybe you will be agree with me. I don't know exactly, but the figure in upside down position is very similar to the decorations of the temples in Indonesia and Indochina. The features, maybe the features. The person is not wearing a headdress. Is wearing a kind of hat. Yeah? It's not a headdress. Yeah, but it's very similar to some decorations of the temples in Asia or in Indonesia. Well, the temple
Above the
has a
door.
doorway which is facing west. The doorway is facing west. The window is facing. There's a window on the back side facing east. So it's a window facing east, the doorway facing west. I mentioned the calendar. If a culture have knowledge about of the calendars, they must have knowledge about astronomy. Yeah? This temple was built in accordance with the sun, where the Mayas observed the equinoxes of March and September. During the equinox of March, and September, 6:15 a.m. during the sunrise, or when the sun is rising, the sunlight passes through the window and illuminate the construction. It's possible to see a beautiful solar phenomenon like this one that you can see in this beautiful picture. An equinox of March, which marked the planting season. And the equinox of September will mark the planting, the harvest time. So we have the planting season and a harvest time. But this is very important because this temple catch the sun. You know what I mean? The temple catch the sun, not the sun catch the temple. Because you know that the earth go around the sun. This is very important. So this culture knew about that the world was really round. Yeah. That's why they had an accurate calendar of 365 days. But this is very important. These constructions, we are located in the sacred area. It is, we can go in the shade over there. Will be for you. It's the same price. Build another wall that you can see over here. A small wall which includes or marks the holy area, the sacred area. Separate the holy constructions from the living houses. this area, all this section, this section, or just around this platform, all this spot was covered, was paved with stucco. This is the platform the human sacrifices. Yeah? In front of the platform the human sacrifices, the Mayas built the highest construction and the most important construction in the area, which is the castle. The Mayan civilization, they were considered peaceful people. They were more dedicated to the art, science, astronomy, agriculture. Civilizations of Mexico City, such as the Aztecs, they were bloody people and warrior civilizations. But around 900 after Christ, a culture of Mexico City arrived to the Yucatan Peninsula. They were another culture, and they were known as the Toltecs. The Toltecs arrived by the Gulf of Mexico and they came into the Yucatan Peninsula. A different group with a different concepts. Around 900 after Christ, this culture introduced new customs to the Mayan civilization. Bloody customs. The Mayans began to sacrifice human beings. They began to worship Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent or the feathered snake, an important god in Mexico City and among the Mayans. The architecture was different after 900 AD. The pottery really different, more bloody representations. There is an archaeological site which is known as Chichen Itza. Have you heard about it? Yes. 180 miles away from here, northwest of the peninsula. The facade of the platforms were decorated with human skulls carved in relief, eagles and jaguars eating human hearts, representations, carvings representing human sacrifices. So they were more different representations. So the concept of the Mayas were different after 900 afterwards, when the civilizations of Mexico City arrived, and the Mayas began to sacrifice human beings. Human sacrifices were performed on people of the ruling class. The ruling class considered themselves the best people to be sacrificed. It was an honor, it was a privilege, it was a great honor to be sacrificed. The Mayans believed in the life after death, and the second life should be better, next to their most important gods. When they died, they became gods, and they should go, but they go in another life as a god. One more god next to their most important god. Elite, they were considered themselves the best of the best people to be sacrificed. The Mayas, they sacrificed captives, slaves, prisoners of war. But those people, they didn't have the same type of rituals as the ruling class had. Rituals of purification, dances, different many rituals before sacrifice the victims. Next to the platform of the human sacrifices, the Mayas built a small chamber, 4 doorways, facing the 4 cardinal points: east, north, west, east, west, north, south. And there is a small sun. There is a sun in the middle, in the central part, in the central section of this construction. That was a steam bath. So the Mayas, they used to purify the victims before sacrificing. You know, the Greeks, the Romans, they had steam baths. So the Mayas, they had steam baths, yeah, but they were just for purifying. To purify the victims before offering them to their god. The Mayas, they used to open the chest, they took the human heart out, and the human heart was offered to the most important god. What was the purpose of the human sacrifices? Well, I think that this culture, the Mayas, they had to offer something to their god to get something from them. Food and rain. 2 important things to survive. Rain in this area because there's not enough source of water. And food because the agriculture in the peninsula is not good. Peninsula, just like this. It's a rocky. Agriculture is not good. The Maya farmer, they follow a technique of agriculture which is known as slash and burn. They cut the trees, they burn them, and they use the ashes as fertilizer. The Maya farmer has 2 problems. The first problem is the land. The second problem is that the land has a life between 4 and 6 years. After that period, the nutrients are gone, and that land is not good anymore for agriculture. Well, the Mayas, the farmer can use the same land, but they have to wait over 10 years to use the same land. They have a kind of rotation system. And this is that was the main purpose of the human sacrifice. I'm going to give you a good idea. Maybe a group of high priests, a group of the elite, used to sit in the highest construction in the castle to observe the rituals performed around the platform, but the rituals performed especially on top of the platform of the human sacrifice. Makes sense. We're in the sacred area, in the highest point of the city, the most important construction built one in front of the other. Any question, friends? No? We're going to see one more construction.
How did they get up there to the human sacrifices here? How did they get up there?
There is a stairway. Yeah, there is a stairway over there. Yeah.
What's left?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Go this way. I might get a picture of this.
Yeah. There is a panel. There's a panel right here that has the name of this construction, Alice. And there are 3 different languages, written languages. Spanish, Maya, and English. You have an idea of the Maya language, which is in the central section right here. The most important expeditions were supported by Mexican archaeologists around 60, and I said most important because they were important findings. This was a residence. This was a home, a residence of a Maya, of an important Mayan ruler. It's a long construction right here in the front with different benches. There is another large room on the back side, but divided in small chambers. Around 1960, Mexican scholars, they found a human skeleton beneath the floors of one of the chambers. A human skeleton, small human skeleton, about 5 feet. All the bones covered with, all the bones had remains of red color. It was cinnabar. Cinnabar, it's a mineral where the Mayans obtained a red color. Next to the skull, a death mask made of jade. Eyes made of seashell, and the pupils made of obsidian. They tried to make it realistic. Pottery, domestic and religious pottery. Domestic pottery with remains of fish bones and deer bones. It was food and should be used for the next life, for their life. Almost the same concept of the Egyptian civilization. The religious pottery with hieroglyphics, inscriptions that maybe tell us something important about the person who was buried here. Now the skeletons, the jade ornaments, and all the stuff found in this area, they are now in the principal museums of the Yucatan Peninsula. Cool. We have a good example, which are the doorways. The doorways are a good example to say that these people were short. But I think that the most important evidence are the skeletons. The skeletons, the burials found in the area, which is the best example and the best evidence to say that these people were really short. This is a beautiful construction. This construction is known as the House of the Frescoes, Temple of the Frescoes, because inside there are a small chamber that has original murals and original frescoes. They look in very good condition. They are still there since 900 after Christ, and they are very well preserved. This temple has 3 different periods of construction. I was saying that the Mayan civilization built temples on top of the oldest one. The city of Tulum was occupied 900 after Christ. The Mayas came here 900 after Christ, and they built a small chamber, a small construction, which is inside. And you look at the columns right here, and you look at the pillars. Inside, there is you can see the facade of another construction. It's easy to see it, clearly to see it. There is another small chamber inside. In another period, the Mayans built this temple right here on top of the first one. So this temple that we can see here enclosed the first construction. And the third and the last period of construction, you can see it right there on top. This is important. 3 different temples built by the same culture, built by different generations of Mayas, but built in different times, in different periods. This is important because the same Mayan people built these constructions, but different generations of Mayas built the construction. Right here in the corner, exactly in this corner, there is a mast, there is a base. Can you see it? Well, between the two corners, or between the two lines that you can see right here, there is an eye and the nose.
Cool.
Below the center line, a chin bone and the mouth. So this we have a nice view of this construction and of this mask.
Very
Let me
cool.
show you this
See?
postcard, 1923, during the expedition supported by the Carnegie Institution of Washington, right here. With this postcard, I think that you have a better idea of these constructions during the expedition supported by the Carnegie Institution of Washington, right here. And this is the same construction, the same temple. About that stone that you can see over there, I mentioned that the Mayans had books. The Mayans had books where they record their knowledge. But the Mayas, they erected stone monuments like that one. Unfortunately, that stone monument is very damaged. The erosion damaged the hieroglyphics, the inscriptions. But the Mayas, they erected stones like that ones, and they carved important happenings, important dates, important events. Yeah, maybe the information about who built this construction, for example. Yeah, this in which period or in which date. Yeah? That type of information. The writing was like this. This is a handmade bar paper, 9 different inscriptions. Yeah, and we can read the Maya writing from top to bottom, from left to right, right. And every hieroglyphic has a meaning and a different value. With one inscription, with one hieroglyphic, the Mayas try to represent a whole word. Yeah? But it's an idea of that stone monument covered with inscriptions and with hieroglyphics. Let's go around the corner.
Are those handprints up there?
We have another residence over there. Another residence. That residence or house has the same type of architecture like the order that we saw before, which is this one. It's the order where the archaeologists found a human skeleton.
Oh, good.
That temple was explored in 1960s. The scholars found 4 human skeletons. One in sitting down position, and the 3 in lie down position around the central one. The skeleton who was buried in sitting down position has remains of cinnabar on the bones and jade beads in different parts of the skeleton. The other 2 persons without offerings, and the scholars mentioned that an important person was buried in the construction, and 3 servants who were buried next to the ruler to accompany him to their life, to the second life. The pottery and the food necessary, and religious pottery to mention something about the person who was buried in the construction in that temple. The thatch roof was built by the archaeologists just 1 month ago. Well, it had another one. It was replaced. They put a new thatch roof to protect the facade of the construction, which is original. The facade is 100% original, has original stucco. The archaeologists, these stones that you can see them right here, they were collapsed in this section. They didn't use cement or stucco to restore them, and they restored this section. It was a platform, an earlier construction, right? And then the archaeologists they use a date, which is the August 13, 3014 before Christ, as a reference point. They mention is the oldest date found in the Mayan area, and the Mayans believed that the world was created in that time. You know, our cycle will start from 0 BC, 0 AD. 0 is our reference point, and the Mayas used the archaeology around 1970s. The archaeologists found a stone monument, like the order that I showed you before. They convert the hieroglyphics, the Mayan hieroglyphics, into Gregorian dates, and the date was December 22nd, 2012. It's one of the few dates, and the only dates with a future date, yeah, December 22nd, 2012. Well, you know, some scholars, some people say the Mayans predict the end of the world. When Nostradamus predict the end of the world in 2013, but I think that the end of the world was secondary for the Mayans and for different civilizations. There were something important things, yeah, most important things than the end of the world, like a comet, a total solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, a moon eclipse, for example. They were important science, important events. Yeah, maybe the Mayas predict something important in that stone monument. The Aztecs believe in 5 suns, or eras, you know, 5 eras. We are living the 5th one, no? So this is the last one, era, according to the Aztec civilization. We are living in the 5th sun, or in the 5th sun, in the 5th sun. Yeah? So they will be the last, according to the Mayan, to the Aztec civilization. Well, friends, I would like to show you this book. There is a foundation. There is a cultural foundation next to the parking lot. A foundation supported by Mexican and American, Spanish archaeologists too, in order to preserve the ceremonial center and the archaeological site of Tulum. I mentioned that we have much damage, acid rain, the erosion, the salt of the ocean, the damage to the temples. Last month ago was possible to climb the platform of the human sacrifices. Now it's not allowed anymore because there are much destruction on the platform of the human sacrifices. Yeah? And well, this foundation, they print a book about the Mayas, about the Mayan civilization, where you can get more information about this culture, calendars, writing, numerical system, about the religion, about numbers, the numerical system. The book has a beautiful front cover. So the institution, you know, they use stucco on the front cover because the stucco was very important on the construction. The facade of the temples were covered with stucco. The Mayas had books, and the books were made like these ones. You know, they were folded. They were folded books, and they were made of bark of the trees, and books made with the deer skin. So those books were like an accordion. I mentioned that most of these books were burned when the Spanish people arrived in this area. The book explains us something about this institution, about the concept of the creation of the world, according to the Mayan beliefs. You know, the numbers. I like this one. Hunka, Oshkan, Hu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have the numbers in Maya language from 1 to 19. All the numbers in Maya language. The book and the calendars. The small one is the sacred, and the big one is the civil. The same idea, the same example, and explanations about the function of these calendars. Thanks to a computer program developed by this foundation, computers, technology is very important nowadays. Yeah, the scholars develop a computer program in which it's possible to convert Gregorian dates into Mayan ones. Remember, the Mayas carve important dates, just important dates. And in this bar paper, there is an important date, and it's September 8, 1972. A beautiful baby was born. That's me. Sure. And this is my birthday date, convert into Mayan hieroglyphics, into Mayan inscriptions. The foundation print my name. Vicente Negron Canche is my full name, September 8, 1972. It's the same date, just the date. September 8, 1972, right here, convert into Mayan inscriptions, into Mayan hieroglyphics.
You can get your stela, we call them stela or calendar, with your wedding anniversary, birthday day, today that you are visiting the Myan Ruins, and a special date in your life. It could be from the past, from the future, and a special date in your life. This is just an idea of that this foundation is trying to support more expeditions in the area and another small sites located in the area. It's like a donation. I mean, you can take home a cultural souvenir, yeah. And at the same time, in another way, you are collaborating with this foundation to support archaeological works in the area, which is the most important. The book, it has a cost of $25. So the bar paper is included in the book. It comes with the book. Okay. And if any one of you is interested, please just let me know in this moment, because I have some order forms where you can write your name and the date that you want, and the book will be delivered on the bus. On the way back to the bus, some persons on this foundation will be waiting for you on the bus.
Sure.
If any one of you is interested, just let me know. Thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Gracias. Thank you. And there is a nice view of the ocean. You can go, just keep walking straight ahead. You will see a nice view of the area of the Caribbean. There is a nice spot to take pictures. If you wanna get the water, you can see that there is a sand path over there. Just follow the sand path and you're gonna get to the beach. You're gonna get to the ocean.
Hey, Mrs. Angel Eyes, coming down from the sky. Hey, Mrs. Angel Eyes, why can't you just realize he don't love you as far as eyes can see? But maybe my eyes are green with envy. Hey, Mrs., coming from the cloud, your heart sings for my candy heart. Hey, Mrs., why can't you understand? This should be where my life begins. Hey, Mrs. Angel Eyes, coming down from the sky. Hey, Mrs. Angel Eyes, why can't you just realize he don't love you as far as eyes can see? Someday we'll live together joyfully. Hey, Mrs., flying as I recall, locked in my room and I don't live at all. Hey, Mrs., as beautiful as can be, maybe I lock myself in my own misery. Mrs. Angel Eyes, you are my fantasy. If your love was an ocean, I'd be sailing across your sea.